All right. Welcome to That's a Word with Marcia and Gino. I'm Gino Morrow,
And I'm Marcia Williams Cromer.
and we begin each conversation with intention, one word at a time. And as always, we jump right into it. So, Marcia, dear sister, beloved, speak your word
Hey, Gino, great to see you.
as well.
Okay, so I have a word that I did not know what the name of it until I actually heard it. It's called carapace, and I'll spell it Carapace. The definition is a hard protective outer shield or shell that covers all or part of the back of certain animals. Animals that, like I would say, some reptiles, snakes, turtles, tortoises, crabs, lobsters, spiders. Okay,
Mhm.
but the another function, and the one that I really found interesting, is in English, the word is sometimes used to describe a protective shield or emotional barrier.
Mm.
For example, if someone adopts a tough, gruff exterior to protect themselves from getting hurt, you could say that they are hiding behind an emotional carapace.
Mm.
Ooh, I like that word.
So, questions for you. Parts of speech, in its original form, it's a noun, but it's an adjective when it's used as like
No, no, they're just saying it is actually a noun
oh,
in both situations.
okay. All right.
Hmm. Yeah. So, what I thought about this word when I heard it, it was not used in the context of bony shelled animals. It was not used in that context. It was used in the context of someone who presents themselves as this tough, gruff kind of person.
Mm.
And really, that is kind of an outer shell that, we as humans can wear. It's invisible, but it's there in terms of how we present ourselves in light of how we want to protect ourselves. And
Mm.
it's really a selfish thing. You're protecting whether it's your ego, your self-esteem, just not feeling comfortable even around some people that you don't want to divulge but so much about yourself. So I think all of us have a carapace from time to time.
Mm.
I think
Mhm.
depending on the audience, but the need to feel that way or that you have to adopt that is what makes that word super interesting, and the way that the word is used really interesting to me. What say you?
I say, as a person whose natural disposition is people pleasing, I had to learn to develop a carapace of my own in order to sift through people who really wanted to know me versus people who wanted to perhaps who saw something in me that they could use. I've also watched other people who are people pleasers develop a carapace. So, for example, I used to work with this gentleman in my former place of employment. I used to work with this gentleman. He was one of my direct reports. And I was always cautious about working with him because number one, he was from Florida. He was white, and his name was Jimbo. And I was always like,
Jimbo. Okay, okay.
a white man from Florida named Jimbo. I had certain red flags. But what was interesting, it was even more, is that the persona or the image that he projected, tattoos all over his arms,
Interesting.
beard, long beard and everything. And immediately he probably fit damn near every stereotype I could imagine. Uh, but when Jimbo and I worked together and I got to know Jimbo, one of the kindest, sweetest gentlemen you could ever meet, and I began to realize, oh, that's his carapace. Like, he
Mm,
had to project that because he's so kind-hearted that, people would and did take advantage of him because of his kind nature. And so
right.
people create that hard exterior to prevent themselves from being taken advantage of, or at least serve as a filter for those who really wanted to get to know him versus those who wanted to use him And I think it goes, the same for me and other people that I've observed, like develop this carapace that wasn't natural.
But do you feel that, you say it wasn't natural, but is pretending basically to be something that you're not, that's not natural
Okay,
anyway.
I'm sorry. Maybe it is natural because survival is natural, right?
Okay, my point exactly. My point is that it is something we adopt. It may not be who we are, but it's something that we adopt from the standpoint of survival.
That's right.
However, there are people who have nefarious intent,
Hmm.
and they develop a carapace that would make you feel that I am someone you can trust, when indeed they are not.
Okay, well, let me challenge you on that
Okay.
in the spirit of love, of course. Uh, so
Always.
a person who is more deceptive, like, is it a hard shell that they're actually trying to project in their deception, or is it just a different image of themselves? Because I see it as two different things.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So in one instance, like the person, let's just say the colleague of mine that I worked with, well, his carapace was because he was getting abused in his desire to please people and connect with people. So he created a hard shell to prevent people from taking advantage of him. However, in an instance where someone is more like their natural disposition is manipulative and they look to take advantage of people, they I don't look at what they project as like a hard shell to cast a different image, but a different image to cast a different perception.
I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying, but at the same time, it is basically a shield to get what they want. And if a shield is
A mask.
to, if it, the reason that you put it on is, could be anything.
Mhm,
But the ultimate goal, even if it's this guy didn't want, people to think he was a pushover,
mhm.
that's still on some level deceptive.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I mean, it
That's
may
true.
be for a positive outcome for
That's
him,
true. Uh-huh.
but again, you talked about survival, which that is exactly what a carapace is for these animals that we talk about, right?
Come on, Marshall. Make it make sense. Come on.
Oh, I know. No, when you know how we are, we go crazy just thinking and peeling back the onion layers.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I just really feel that, when you put those animals next to us as animals,
Mhm.
we're doing the exact same thing. And yeah, survival is definitely a key part of it. But in as humans, there are people who are trained to be perceptive about someone having on a carapace. And not only that, as we get older, the people in your world right now that will talk about church and how they're on the front row every Sunday, and come outside of the church and do
Do all
absolutely
of the
nothing,
demonic stuff.
nothing that has anything to
To
do with
do with
church life. Okay. But it matters to them that they have the perception of being that type of person. So they put on this shell or this outer covering
Mhm.
and will work to death to keep that shell on, right?
Right. So
And if you try to lift it up, oh my God, everything blows up with them.
So if I'm refining my perception, because that's all I was doing was tweaking my perception with challenging you. If as I refine my perception based on the explanation you just provided, it's not necessarily that it's a hard shell, it's the perception that they project. Because
Yep.
none of us
Yep.
actually develop a shell. None of us
Right.
actually develop,
Right.
a physical barrier. We develop these mental, emotional projections that create barriers. Yeah. I like that, Marcia.
It- and even to the point of, when you're growing up and you know how far you are away from being that person you want to be, right?
Mhm.
But you start acting that way. You start projecting yourself that way, and you can grow into being that person. And hopefully, it's a good person with positive intent.
Mhm.
But so you can see it from a negative standpoint, but basic or positive. But I think basically the word is barrier. It is just another form of shell,
Yeah.
barriers that we put up to, project who we want the world to see us as. And, there are levels of that. So, there are people in our lives where, that comfort you feel when you just relax into that talk and that relationship,
Mhm.
because you don't have to fake the funk for nothing. You
Right.
don't have to wear the weight of your shell or your barrier.
Ain't that a weight? It's
That's
a
some
weight.
weight, man. That is some weight. Oh my God. Remember, we talked about this back when we were talking about how we go to work and have to kind of code switch,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that feeling of literally the weight that comes off your back when you walk outside the building. You don't even realize you put it on when you go in, because you just like get there, you get running, you get moving, you get to going through the day, the business of your day. But then when you walk out, you feel that tension or whatever persona that you felt like you needed to wear back in that office. You feel that basically kind of shed away.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, I had an interview last week, and man, that code switching kicked in. So I'm so aware of it now. Like, I'm like, oh man, I can't imagine walking into I said, my next interview, I will definitely remove that code switch, man. They just gonna have to get the real me.
Right. And you know what? And you don't do yourself really a good service to go into a place you may need to work 5, 10, 15 years. And understand that that's how you're gonna have to, you got to keep up that game,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I mean, I think the older you get, you realize
I can't do
I
that.
I'm
I
not
ain't got
gonna
to do
even
that.
I'm not gonna even start with y'all, okay? Because I know that I can't keep that up anymore. And when I was 22, oh yeah, that was part of the world. You walking into your corporate job and it's all good, and you do what you have to do to survive and grow and thrive there.
You
And
know,
I
okay.
just feel like as an older person, I already know who I am. I don't have to prove anything to anybody. And because I already know I'm a good person. I know I'm not going to try to do anything crazy, sneaky, underhanded to you.
Mhm.
So why should I feel like I have to put on a carapace to be in your presence?
Right.
There's nothing different about me. I'm as special as you are, if not more. I'm just saying. You know, so why would I put myself through that work? And at this point in my life and career, I know it is not something that I can sustain.
What's going to be really interesting for us in the very near future is this. So, in 2025, 2026, 300,000, 350,000, something like that, Black women were released from their jobs. Uh,
Absolutely.
Same year, 670,000 Black men were
It's
released from their
crazy.
jobs. So
It's
over
crazy.
a million Black professionals,
Yep.
including myself, were
Yep.
were released from their primary place of employment, and which leads and so since then it's been feeling like, okay, I've been feeling the weight of AI, take jobs in my sector in
Hmm.
technology, in software engineering and development and design, and a lot of the colleagues that I run in the same circles with have encountered the same problem. And so, the challenge of being yourself and trying to squeeze into a space that has squeezed us out intentionally because of who we are and really demands that we discard
Come on.
ourselves
Come on.
culturally. forces us to go, okay, well, what kind of armor am I walking into this interview with? And being more conscious about it, being more purposeful and intent about it. Because when I had my interview last week, I knew I was code switching. It wasn't no
Yeah,
automatic, it wasn't subconscious. It was like, you know what? I know as a black man, I am a potential threat because of what I know and what I'm
absolutely.
capable of. And this market is extremely tight. So it's more about who you know and not what you know.
Hmm.
So how do I come off as less a threat? Now, I didn't go in acting like Poindexter.
Right.
I didn't pretend that I was somebody that I wasn't, but I put on my very clear. I enunciated. I
Yes.
pronounced my
Yes.
words very
Yes.
clearly. I talked concepts that were clear and academically based.
You wearing me out right now.
I was like, this is a bullshit.
I know it. I know it. And
Okay.
you know what? But here's the thing. Let me pick up on this. When we do that to ourselves, we are still serving up massa.
Yes,
Okay.
we are.
Okay. And then as we mature, we realize massa don't know shit, right?
That's a
And
fact.
so now you got the weight of leaving your home, not being who you are for 8 hours, wearing your carapace, if you will, and for somebody that is stupid,
Uh,
you know.
Okay.
And here's where the faith walk comes in. All
Yeah.
right. And this is me talking to me because I've been through it. I'm
Yep.
talking to what I've
Feel
been
you.
through.
Oh, I feel you.
And you know what? It's like when you decide, okay, a headhunter calls you, or you gonna apply for a job, and you think, oh, okay, this is good, this is great. Now let me prepare myself because I need this to happen for me, right?
Mm-hmm.
How many times have you gotten there, gone through getting up, getting dressed, looking professional, doing the interview, going through the drug screenings, all that kind of stuff that happens before, background check, blah, 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 and you get that job. And you knew when you took the job, it was really not a job for you.
Mm-hmm.
You just didn't hold out for the money you need, the presence that you need on the other side, so that when you show up, you're showing up as your person, not your carapace. Because
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, I have been there, and those jobs end up reminding me
Of the
my faith
plantation.
my faith ain't strong enough.
Uh-huh.
You're
Uh-huh.
gonna have to grow some faith,
That's right.
and be able to say, I'm looking for the job God wants me to have,
Yeah.
not the job I want to have or that you want to put me in, right?
Yeah.
And when I hold out for what I know I'm worth, how much I should make, what the fair salary for me is, um, you know, it's not even about the money, other than I want to be paid fairly so I can live a standard of have a standard of living, right?
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, I also want to look forward to Monday.
That's right. That's right.
And I'm gonna tell you, dude, you know what? There's nothing worse than Sunday afternoon hitting, and you just like,
Damn.
woo! I mean, so not only are you giving them 5 days a week, now they've
Bring 'em
got,
in.
half a Sunday,
Uh-huh.
because you're just like, it's not your zone, man. It's just not the right fit for you.
Yeah.
And I think that as you're going through the journey right now, and the other women that I talk to who, have lost those jobs that you talked about, I try to encourage them. God already knows what happened, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he knows that you're going to need, and I know it takes faith. It takes really courage and faith to say, I can live maybe with having, more month than money for a few more months, right?
Mm-hmm.
Than to take a job, and work on that job for maybe 3 to 6 months, because you're still looking for your job.
Yeah. 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 And I'll do that, but I know we're at time. So so that's another conversation for another word for another.
Okay, okay, okay. I hope you like my word. I
Oh
hope
no,
everybody like my word, carapace.
loved it because I'm carapacing all the time. But this is a hard word to jump off because I had so much I wanted to talk about because there's animals in the animal kingdom that pretend to be other animals. So like there are caterpillars that look like snakes
Yep.
so that
Yep.
they won't get attacked
Right.
from predators of caterpillars.
Right.
So there's animals that build up these natural carapace
Yep.
features to survive, and so the instinct to survive or survival is typically at the root of people and animals who develop a carapace. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. And last thing I'll say is survival is can show up in a lot of different ways. You know, having to act a certain way to go into a job because you don't want to lose that job is, you know, just another way of changing your skin color, your color, like some animals do, so that they can
Mhm.
blend in, fit in, not be easily seen. That
Mhm.
don't even sound like fun.
It don't sound like survival.
Who wants that? Who wants
I
that,
don't want to
man?
survive. I want to flourish.
Exactly, exactly.
I love the word.
Oh, thank you. All right, my brother, speak your word.
All right. So today's word is about discipline. It's about restraint. It's about living with less so that your spirit can have more. And my word today is abstemious. Abstemious. Spelled Abstemious. Abstemious. The part of speech
Abstemious.
is it's an adjective. And the definition is eating and drinking sparingly, temperate, moderate in the consumption of food and drink. There are several synonyms: temperate, moderate, as mentioned before, sparingly, restrained, self-controlled, frugal, austere. And then the antonyms are indulgent, excessive, intemperate, gluttonous, immoderate, and wasteful. And some other helpful information that I found was an example of abstemious in a sentence is he was a hardworking man with abstemious habits, always passing on a second glass of wine or dessert. And the etymology
Mhm.
is it originated in the 1600s from the Latin word abstemious, spelled slightly different. It combines ab, away from, and timitum, strong drink. I don't know. I don't I guess I hey, if that's what they say.
It reminds me of absinthe.
One of our
The
previous words.
the drink
Oh.
absinthe.
Oh. You'll
There's
you'll
actually a liquor drink called absinthe. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. It literally means abstaining from wine. So, now on the surface, abstemious sounds like a virtue, self-control, discipline, living simply, sounds spiritual. But the huge difference is, and the thing that I wanted to point out is sometimes you can choose abstemiousness, but sometimes abstemiousness is a forced deprivation. In other words,
Hmm.
some of us have the capacity to discipline ourselves, and some of us, through our circumstances, are forced to go without.
Right. Right.
So I wanted to share a story. I wanted to share a story about because part of the reason why I chose this word is tomorrow, my wife and I we start our 40-day turn up again. It's a process we went through with Dr. Joe. I'll elaborate on that in a minute. Uh,
Right. Right. I remember.
but I started back in I'll start with a brief story. I used to work for a company doing software, and I had to travel to Houston every week for 4 days a week. Yeah, 4 days a week and work. And so after work, I joined MMA just to have something to do after work. So I would go to the MMA classes and take jujitsu and Thai and boxing. And so I was getting extremely healthy, right?
Hmm.
I was in the best physical shape in my life. Uh, but I looked fit, but I wasn't fit. And this is how I discovered that I wasn't fit because after I did my workouts. I would come back to my hotel room. I would order a big meal. It would typically be at 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah,
Always
yeah,
have a dessert. And so I was consuming more calories and I was turning it into muscle, but I was retaining sugar.
right.
And so when I finally got back home, my wife and I had observed it. I was going like I was showing signs of being a pre-diabetic. We didn't know that that's what it
Oh,
was.
wow.
But like, my vision was getting horrible or worse, I should say. And there were other signs that was just showing up. And as I was talking with my wife, she was like, you might want to go to the doctor. So I went to the doctor. I scheduled an appointment, went in. They took my sugar, they took a blood test to check my sugar levels, and it was at
No way. No way.
540.
No way.
540. And the doctor said, you're lucky you came in now.
Mm, 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 mm.
And she immediately put me on some medication. And my wife and I, we immediately changed my diet, and within 3 months we changed my condition. So
Yeah.
yeah, so I looked good physically, but I wasn't good at all. Um, um, Now I hadn't changed my workouts yet, so we wound up being introduced to Dr. Joe, and I'm going to share his links because thanks to him, my wife and I, we both lost 50 pounds.
Right. I
Yeah,
know it. It's amazing.
yeah.
And it's low sugar and what else?
It's low sugar. It's and we built it on. He built his program on a plant-based diet. With
Mhm.
you have protein, but you have primarily more plant-based foods. Like 80% of your plate
Mhm.
is going to be plant-based, whereas only 20% is going to be protein. And then you're going to only consume 1,600 calories a day, which is what the body needs to be active, but also you can burn down calories and lose weight over the course of time. So we got into Dr. Joe's program and we both lost 50 pounds. Well, I found 10 to 15 of those pounds again.
Oh, wow. You know what? And tell you, the older we get, the metabolism slows down.
Uh-huh.
You just can't eat. You just cannot eat and not actually be moving often.
Right, right. And I'm mobile every day, but I'm going back through. So now, so we actually begin tomorrow. We start again tomorrow, and I done got friends on this plan. They done joined Dr. Joe's plan, and they've lost weight, and it's not a gimmick because the man doesn't ask for any money. He doesn't ask for any money. I'm like, this is beautiful, but. The reason why I chose this word is because as I'm preparing for this tomorrow, my wife and I I sort of went through. I got gluttonous. I committed the deadly sin.
Oh, so you were trying to catch up ahead of time.
Uh-huh,
Like
uh-huh,
whatever you thought you were gonna miss, you were
uh-huh,
like jumping
uh-huh,
on that. I got
uh-huh,
it. I
uh-huh.
understand perfectly.
Yeah, I had cake today and yesterday.
It's okay. It's okay because time is running out.
That's right. So tomorrow, I am going to be abstemious
Okay.
with everything. But we're fortunate enough to at least be in a place where it's not a forced abstemiousness.
Yeah, yeah. And you're really fortunate that have your sugar go up that high and to be able to, with diet clear that up and you're not on any medication. I think that's amazing.
But let me ask you, Marcia,
Mhm.
has there been any circumstances in which you found yourself having to discipline yourself from excessive dessert or drink or even anything else, food, people?
Oh my God. I was like, have we met? Name it. I just consume life.
Mhm.
And that is my attitude. Every day I'm making memories, and that's just how I operate. Food is one of those things. You know how I feel about my France and
Mhm.
the food being so healthy and nutritious and fresh. But I do know that what offsets because I don't eat the way I eat at home in France
Mhm.
because I walk everywhere. At
Yeah.
home, we're all car people.
Yeah.
So, I do more salads. I do eat some meat, but I lean more toward vegan. In terms of, how I kind of pick and choose is just it's almost like a kid with a hot stove. It's like I know I can't eat but so much of this or I'm going to suffer for it. And sometimes it's even just some spicy food,
Mhm.
which I absolutely love. But if I start eating spicy food before I drink water, then I have like some kind of crazy reaction to it.
Mm.
So why, but still, I'm at a Mexican restaurant and I'm on the chips and salsa before, I mean, it's just insane that I don't remember because I'm so excited about eating the food that I want,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then I end up paying that price. To your point, the same thing with people. I fall in love with everybody. I
Mhm.
just my filter is just weird that way. I just think people are just so amazing. And I have to now just recognize, give them time, Marsh. They will reveal themselves. Give
Mm.
them the time that they need to reveal their true selves. You will not know these people or call them your friend in the first 2 days that you've known them. That just doesn't happen. No.
And after they reveal them true selves, you may not call them your friend at all. Shoot. Okay, so that is my word, abstemious.
Yay! Abstemious. Love it.
And
Love it.
if I may put a punctuation on that thought, because I sort of circumvented my point, which is the purpose is to be disciplined. And discipline, of course, is to find your higher spiritual self or to align yourself with God. And so that discipline, so I mean, as I mentioned, as one of the synonyms, gluttony is one of the synonyms,
Right.
antonyms, I'm sorry, antonyms of
Uh-huh.
abstemious. And so in order to not, I mean, and we don't need to overconsume anything. We need to consume everything in moderation. And so
Absolutely.
there's a level of discipline that comes along with the word. And I think that's also why I was attracted to the word. It's because I'm recognizing that I'm about to go through a process, not just for losing weight, but the discipline is for remaining healthy physically and spiritually. And so yeah, that's where I'll put the punctuation on
That's loving the total, Gino
it. Yeah.
or Marcia. I want to just thank everybody for joining our show today. This has been a great conversation, and we hope to have many more. If you guys love the show, please give us a thumbs up, give us a comment, and definitely be sure to subscribe to the channel. Thanks so much, and peace.
Peace.